Ajoke, desperate for answers, approached him one evening as he packed up his supplies. "Doctor," she began hesitantly, "can I ask you something?" Dr. Ikenna listened intently as Ajoke recounted the tragedies that had befallen her family. His expression grew serious as she spoke, and when she finished, he nodded. "This is unusual, Mama Timmy," he said, "but I don't believe in curses. If you allow me, I can investigate this from a medical perspective." Ajoke hesitated. Involving an outsider felt risky, but she saw no other option. She agreed, and together they began to piece together the puzzle. Dr. Ikenna suggested performing an autopsy on Kemi, the most recent bride, to determine the cause of her death. This proposal sparked outrage among the elders, who considered it a violation of tradition. "The dead must be left to rest," Baba Oladel exclaimed during a village meeting. "Disturbing her body will only bring more misfortune." But Ajoke stood firm. "More misfortune will come if we do nothing," she said, her voice steady. "I will not let my son's life be destroyed by rumors and lies." Reluctantly, the elders agreed, and the autopsy was carried out under Dr. Ikenna's supervision. What he found shocked everyone. "Kemi's body shows signs of poisoning," he explained to Ajoke in Bamidele. "It's a slow-acting toxin, likely ingested hours before her death. This was no accident, Mama Timmy. Someone deliberately gave her poison." Ajoke's knees buckled at the revelation. "Poison?" she whispered. "But how? Who would do such a thing?" Dr. Ikenna's response was measured. "We need to trace her last steps. Who prepared her meals? What did she eat or drink before the wedding night?" Ajoke and Dr. Ikenna began visiting the market, retracing the bride's steps. All three women had visited Mama Agba's stall before their weddings. Ajoke approached the elderly vendor, her tone light but her eyes sharp. "Mama Agba, do you remember Kemi?" she asked. "She bought some herbs from you before her wedding." Mama Agba's wrinkled face tightened. "I remember her," she said cautiously. "She wanted herbs for good fortune and a happy marriage. I gave her my usual mix." Ajoke pressed further. "Did anyone else touch the herbs before she took them?" Mama Agba hesitated, glancing around nervously. "I don't want trouble, Ajoke," she said. "But there was someone. A young woman came to my stall the day before Kemi's wedding. She offered to help me pack the herbs." "Who was she?" Dr. Ikenna asked sharply. Mama Agba looked away, her voice barely a whisper. "It was Abini." Abini had grown up in the village alongside Timmy. She was a quiet, unassuming woman who had always kept to herself. But as Ajoke thought back, she remembered the way Abini's eyes lingered on Timmy during festivals, the way she avoided Ajoke's gaze when they crossed paths. Confronting Abini was not easy. Ajoke and Dr. Ikenna found her weaving baskets outside her family's hut. When they approached, her hands trembled, and her eyes darted around nervously. "Abini," Ajoke began, her voice trembling. "We know about the herbs. We know you tampered with them." Abini froze, her face pale. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said quickly. Dr. Ikenna stepped forward. "The poison in those herbs killed Timmy's wives," he said. "We have evidence, Abini. Tell the truth, or we will take this to the elders." Abini's composure crumbled. She fell to her knees, sobbing. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," she cried. "I just wanted Timmy to see me, to love me. But he kept marrying other women. I thought if they were gone, he would finally notice me." Ajoke staggered back, her mind reeling. You did this," she whispered. "You killed them." "I didn't want to kill them," Abini wailed. "I only wanted to make them sick, to make him leave them. I didn't know the poison was so strong." The village of Ajira was abuzz with the shocking confession of Abini. The quiet young woman who had grown up alongside Timmy was revealed to be the one behind the deaths of his wives, driven by unrequited love and jealousy. Ajoke's heart remained unsettled. Something about Abini's explanation didn't sit right with her. The poison, the timing, It felt too calculated for a desperate act of jealousy. Ajoke couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story, and she wasn't the only one. The elders convened a meeting to decide Abini's fate. Her actions had brought untold grief to 3 families and nearly destroyed Timmy's life. After much deliberation, it was decided that Abini would be exiled from the village, a punishment deemed fitting for her betrayal. As she was led away, she turned to Ajoke, her eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I never meant to hurt you." The truth brought relief, but it could not erase the pain of the past. Timmy, now free from the burden of suspicion, struggled to rebuild his life. Ajoke, though still carrying her own guilt, found solace in knowing that her son was not cursed, that the tragedies were not her fault. Dr. Ikena's role in uncovering the truth earned him the gratitude of the village. He left Ajira shortly after, but not before reminding Ajoke of her strength. "You fought for your son when no one else would," he said. "That is the greatest act of love." As the months passed, the village began to heal. The superstitions that had once governed their lives gave way to a cautious understanding of the truth. Timmy, though relieved to no longer be seen as cursed, was far from at peace. He avoided the village gatherings and spent his days working in the fields, his eyes clouded with sorrow. One evening, as Ajoke prepared dinner, Timmy sat silently on the floor, staring into the flames of the cooking fire. His mother watched him for a long moment before speaking. "Timmy," she began softly, "does this not feel strange to you? Abini's actions were terrible, but why would she go to such lengths, to poison 3 women? Timmy shook his head. "I don't know, Mama, but I'm tired of asking questions. Every answer only brings more pain." Ajoke reached out, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Pain or not, we must seek the truth. I can't rest until I know everything, and I don't think you can either." Ajoke's unease drove her to send a message to Dr. Ikena, asking him to return to Ajira. A week later, he arrived, his presence once again sparking whispers among the villagers. "What troubles you, Mama Timmy?" he asked as they sat in her hut. Ajoke explained her lingering doubts. "Abini admitted to tampering with the herbs, but something doesn't add up. How could she have known the exact dose to kill? She claimed she didn't mean to kill them, but the poison was perfectly measured each time." Dr. Ikena nodded thoughtfully. "You're right to question this. Abini may not have acted alone, or may not even be the true mastermind." His words struck Ajoke like a thunderclap. If Abini wasn't the true culprit, then who was? Dr. Ikena proposed a plan. They would investigate the supply chain of the herbs. If someone else had tampered with them before they reached Mama Agba's stall, they might uncover the true culprit. Their first stop was the forest, where many of the herbs were harvested. Ajoke and Dr. Ikena spoke with the gatherers, asking if they had noticed anything unusual. At first, no one offered any useful information, until an older woman hesitated when they mentioned the poison. "There is something," she said quietly. "A few months before Funmi's wedding, I saw a man near the herb bushes. He wasn't one of us." "Who was he?" Ajoke asked, her voice urgent. The woman frowned. "I don't know his name, but he was tall, with a scar on his left cheek. He didn't belong here." Ajoke exchanged a look with Dr. Ikena, a stranger tampering with the herbs. The pieces of the puzzle were starting to shift. As they continued their investigation, another thread of suspicion began to emerge. Ajoke remembered that one of the elders, Baba Oladele, had been unusually insistent about Abini's guilt during the village meetings. His outbursts had felt disproportionate, as though he was eager to close the case quickly. Ajoke decided to confront him. She approached his hut one evening, her heart pounding in her chest. "Baba Oladele," she said, her voice steady despite her nerves. "I have questions about the deaths of my son's wives. You seemed very certain that Abini was to blame. Why?" The elder shifted uncomfortably, "What are you implying, Ajoke?" the girl confessed. "What more do you want?" "I want the truth," she said firmly, "and I believe you know more than you've admitted." For a moment, Baba Oladel said nothing. Then with a heavy sigh, he leaned forward. "You're persistent, Ajoke, too persistent. Perhaps it's time you stop digging before you uncover things better left buried." Ajoke's blood ran cold. His words were not a denial, they were a warning. Dr. Ikenna, who had been listening from the shadows, stepped into the light. "Baba Oladel," he said calmly, "you know something about this, don't you? Perhaps more than you'd like to admit." Caught off guard, the elder glared at them both. "I know only that the dead should rest," he snapped. "Leave me in peace." But his agitation only fueled their determination. That night, Ajoke and Dr. Ikenna discussed their next move. "He's hiding something," Dr. Ikenna said. "We need proof to tie him to the poison." Ajoke nodded. "Then we'll watch him. If he's involved, he'll make a mistake." For several days, they kept a close eye on Baba Oladel, tracking his movements. Finally, their patience paid off. Late one night, they saw him sneaking out of his hut, carrying a small bundle. Following at a distance, they watched as he made his way to a secluded area near the forest. There he met the man with the scar, a man who fit the description given by the herb gatherer. Ajoke's heart raced as she and Dr. Ikenna crept closer, straining to hear their conversation. "It's done," Baba Oladel said. "The girl took the blame. No one suspects me." The scarred man chuckled. "Good, but you still owe me for the last batch." Ajoke's gasp gave them away. Baba Oladel spun around, his face contorted with anger and fear. "You shouldn't be here," he shouted. "You killed them," Ajoke said, her voice trembling with rage. "You poisoned them and let Abini take the blame." Baba Oladel's shoulders slumped. "It wasn't supposed to be like this," he said quietly. "I only wanted to teach your family a lesson." "A lesson?" Ajoke demanded. "What could warrant such cruelty?" "Your husband," Baba Oladel spat. "Bamidele humiliated me years ago, taking the land I had claimed. I swore I would make him suffer. And your son was the perfect target." Ajoke felt as though the ground beneath her had vanished. This was about revenge, a petty, cruel vendetta that had claimed innocent lives. Baba Oladel and his accomplice were brought before the village elders. Their confession sent shockwaves through Ajira, shattering the fragile peace that had returned after Abini's exile. The elders condemned Baba Oladel and the scarred man to permanent banishment. Their punishment was swift but left a bitter taste in the mouths of the villagers, who now faced the painful reality of their own complicity. They had been too quick to judge, too willing to believe in curses and superstition. The truth had finally come to light in Ajira, bringing with it both relief and devastation. Baba Oladel's cruel vendetta and calculated deceit had torn apart families, destroyed reputations, and nearly condemned Timmy to a life of isolation. But now, with the poisoners exposed and justice served, the path toward healing could finally begin. For Ajoke, the truth brought both relief and sorrow. Her son was finally free of suspicion, but the scars of the tragedies would remain forever. As she stood by the stream where Timmy often sat in quiet reflection, Ajoke placed a hand on his shoulder. "We know the truth now," she said softly. "It wasn't you. It was never you." Timmy looked up, his eyes filled with a mix of pain and hope. "But can I ever move forward, Mama?" Ajoke smiled through her tears. "One step at a time, my son. One step at a time." Thank you for watching.